Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1986 Isuzu Pup. Up front is a 2.3 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Isuzu Pup for 2 reasons. First of all, you don't see them on the road anymore. These were sold throughout the late 70s all the way up through the 90s throughout 3 different generations. This particular one is a 2nd generation, and we'll talk about why that's important a little bit later on. But the second reason is that it's rust-free. This is a very clean example of a truck you just don't see anymore, and these are my favorite kinds of vehicles to review, so I'm excited to share it with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackbradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2.3 liter inline 4 under the hood. 2.3 was more of a workhorse, made about 96 horsepower. It is carbureted and is single overhead cam. However, the more popular engine around the world was the 1.8 liter, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. This was a very globally sold pickup. But us Americans, there's no replacement for displacement. So we got the 2.3 liter. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It's actually quite lovely to drive. The shifter's super notchy, very easy in and out of gear, very light. And that's kind of the name of the game with the Pup. It's light and friendly, like a puppy would be. And so if you don't have experience driving manual pickup trucks, but you've driven other manual vehicles, don't fret. You're gonna feel at home in this bad boy. Last but not least, the Isuzu Pup is rear-wheel drive. However, you could find them in 4-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Isuzu Pup? Well, it's lovely, first of all. Like I said with the shifter, it's very friendly. It's very easily chuckable. Everything is kind of airy, and everything has that Japanese build quality where it's sturdy but light. Visibility is fantastic because it's an 80s car. The ride is bad, but that's mostly just because it's a pickup truck. It's body on frame, it's rugged, it's built to haul things, and so comfort was left by the wayside, but that's okay. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 gauges. Technically 3. Off to the left, we have the coolant temperature and fuel, and off to the right, we have the speedometer, and that is it. No tachometer in this factory manual pickup. On the steering wheel, we get the Isuzu logo, of which I've actually never driven an Isuzu this old. I didn't know that this was their logo. Very, very cool to see that. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, headlight switch, and that's it. And on the door, we have the crank for the windows and latch to get in and out. That is also it. Moving into the center, we have a radio, and that's it. 2 climate control vents found down below that, and we have our climate controls. This is a factory AC truck. Very, very nice to see that for 1986. Especially in a pickup truck, and a cigarette lighter off to the right. Shifter down on the floor, meaning we don't have any cup holders. So, unfortunately, it fails the big friggin' bottle test, but no one here is surprised. Off to the right, we do have a glove box with the Isuzu Pup badge. Absolutely love this. When was the last time you saw a badge this clean on a vehicle like this? Love that. And I guess on the inside of the glove box, you could consider these cup holders. They really weren't. People always try to make this argument. This was for like drive-in movies and whatnot, not really for holding drinks. Then we get the bench seat. I love the little cutout for the shifter. And that's it. That is finishing the interior. I do really like the tan interior. I think it's a really good look. And just so period correct. We never saw this much tan and brown really past the 1980s, so it's stuck in its era a little bit there, but I like that part of it. However, we do have a bed to talk about. Not much back there, but we will talk about the bed of the Isuzu Pup. All right, around the back of the Isuzu Pup, and as you can see, we have a giant rear bed. Very, very useful, which is fantastic. I believe it's an 8-foot bed. Anyway, we do have a very simple tailgate just two big metal arms on either side, and that's how you got into the bed of the pup. Nothing really crazy. I mean, you could tie down to here. Well, okay, maybe you shouldn't. But you do have some tie downs up here, some metal hooks and whatnot, but definitely not what you would see on today's modern trucks. Although modern trucks have outlets and LED lights and gun racks and all of that garbage. You don't really need any of that. You just need the space, and the pup has the space. Love that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I don't think that the Isuzu Pup is the most pretty looking truck I've ever seen. It has the most adorable name for sure, but it's just kind of a square body pickup truck, nothing really too crazy there. I do like the tan color, and I like the single cab long bed. I don't know, it's just so of the era. I can't get over it. I really, really, truly love just looking at this truck for what it is, which is a time capsule to the late 80s. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Isuzu Pup? Well, first of all, it's been a fantastic, really, really fun experience. It drives great. It drives just like any Toyota pickup of the era, which I've always deemed as the star student, if you will, or sort of my barometer for good driving small trucks is Toyota, and this is right next to it. But let's talk about the importance of the Isuzu Pup. Well, the first generation was actually rebadged here as the Chevy LUV, L-U-V. This is because in the 70s we had the oil crisis, and companies were trying to build smaller, more affordable, more economical trucks. They started giving trucks 4 cylinders like this. And so Chevy went to their comrades over at Isuzu and said, hey, we need a small little pickup truck. And they said, sure, we'll send you the Isuzu Pup. At the time, it wasn't named that. This is actually just the name for the American market, but I digress. So they started rebadging it, and it gave Chevy the ability to then go on and spend money to develop their Chevy S10 platform that came out in the early 80s. So this particular year, 1986, they had already spun off into the first generation of S10. The LUV was no longer offered. That sounded more depressing than I meant. I meant the Chevy LUV was no longer offered. L-U-V, not L-O-V-E. But Isuzu continued to sell these in the States all the way up until 1995, which is quite the run, if you ask me. And so Isuzu helped establish small trucks here in the United States in a post-oil crisis market. Small trucks like this started to become very, very popular because they were more fuel efficient, and as long as you didn't have to tow in a 100-foot trailer, you could get by with one of these. You could put your lawnmowers and lawn equipment in the back, and these were actually very popular with lawn service companies. You could put the snowblower in the back. You could get a huge pile of mulch for mom or dad. You could fit a lot of things in the bed of this truck, and it was just as useful as the big boys while sipping on gas when you weren't hauling. The only real downside of these trucks were that they had lower towing ratings, and so if you did have to tow a boat, I was joking about a 100-foot trailer, but if you did have to pull a car on a trailer or something like that, this wasn't really that truck of choice. But if you owned a flower shop, if you owned a photography studio and you needed to haul equipment around, this was a fantastic option. And Isuzu never really had a big foothold here in the United States market. They were never a giant market share, even less so than Suzuki, and Suzuki had a tiny share of the pie. And so these particularly didn't litter the streets like the S10 and Ranger did. But I like that. I like finding the strange and unloved, and this truck, for most of its life, has been loved. It's in great shape, and I was just so excited to show this Isuzu Pup to you today. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the name Isuzu Pup was just a play on pickup. It was a quick way to say pickup, but they shortened it to Pup, which gave it this really, really cute name at a time where pickup trucks didn't really have cute names like Ranger or S10 or F-150 or K10 or K1500. This was Pup. Isn't that cute? I don't know. I think it's cute. It's the Snoopy of automobiles. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Seth for letting me borrow his Isuzu Pup for today's video. Seth has been absolutely wonderful to work with, and I appreciate William with the Country Squire for recommending the review to Seth. Absolutely wonderful. It was great to be up here in Wisconsin for a day and to learn about one of the cutest, fun little pickup trucks ever made. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.